Okay, well, welcome to Supergood podcast. We have my buddy Mitch here from Grand Rapids. Mitch, actually, I don't think I've ever heard the correct pronunciation of your last name. Is it Pater?
Pater, yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
So, Mitch, why don't you just introduce yourself? Give us a little rundown of what you do and where you're from.
Yeah, so it's Mitchell Pater, and I am from Grand Rapids, Michigan area, small town called Marne, actually, out in the boondocks a little bit. But went to Coopersville High School. Never actually had any like creative drive in high school. Actually, it was kind of crazy because my brother was a really good basketball player. So growing up, I kind of like just followed his lead, right? Like he was this good basketball player. I was like, oh, sweet. I want to be a good basketball player. I want to like do what he's doing. And, you see all the success and you're just like, yeah, well, I'll follow that. Like, why not? Right. Yeah. Like everything's like, that looks great. So I kind of like followed his footsteps and did what he was doing, and all the teachers and everyone, yeah, this is awesome. Like, you have applause. So you're like, yeah, I got to be doing something right. But it never really felt like it was me. Like, it's so weird. But in high school, we have no idea. Like, everyone's just kind of going through their paces. You're just trying to fit in and whatever. So, anyways, I went through high school, did the whole basketball thing and sports and whatnot. And then got out of high school, and I decided to go to Western, down to Kalamazoo, to go into business. My family is very business oriented. They've done really well in their own ventures, and I was like, oh, okay, well, I could see myself doing something in business, and I thought it was like managing people, So I went to college and got a business management degree. Then got out of college and got my first job as like a department manager for a retail store, Menards actually. And yeah, dude.
Say big money, baby.
Hey. What's their like? They got like a 7% sale or some shit. Yeah. Dude, anyways, I don't even want to go back to that land. But I was a department manager for them, and oh my gosh, learned so much about myself and managing in general. Like, I didn't want to do that. Like, that was something that like I thought that I had in my head that like, oh, this is what you could do because you were in sports, like you were on a team, like you're a manager all of a sudden. No, like, I don't know. Unfortunately, it just didn't resonate with me yet. That I wasn't like, that's not where my passion was. That's not like what, and that's what I feel like for people in general, it's tough because you tell people to go and do what they love, but they don't really know what that is yet. Like it could be anything. They don't see it yet, right? That it doesn't come from like inside. So to tell some younger kid to like go do what you love, well, like I don't know, man. Like I agree with that to a point, of course, but I also feel like they at some point they're gonna have to find that themselves.
It's more like just try a lot of things.
Yeah. I like that. And someone else says that it's like, do a lot of things and just, like, oh, yeah, I don't like that. I don't like that. Well, that was my first thing where I was like, fuck, I don't like managing people. I got like 8 different people and they're all crying about this and that. And I'm like, dude, I don't want to deal with you guys. Like,
Menards was your first job.
That was my first like professional job. Yeah. So like at that point I was like, management, is this it? Like, and then I stepped out of there. Couldn't do the retail hours are just something else.
I did Foot Locker, and Journeys, and all that stuff.
I don't even know. Like, I don't even feel like it's right. I feel like it's right. Anyways, I stepped out of that and went to work for a family business venture, and same situation where I just wasn't happy, dude. I was like, this is messed up. Like, I feel like something's wrong with me, and then I'm thinking, did I go to school for the wrong thing? And like, I had this like conflicting, thing going on in my head. And like, is this like, what's going on? Do I feel, I don't know, it just felt wrong. Right. So kept going. And I always had some interest in like video or photos. I was always doing something on the GoPro and like that type of thing, just for fun. And then that kind of like led into some other things, but Yeah, man, the whole job, right out of college thing, and just not knowing what I wanted to do is, dude, I can see that being so tough for kids these days. And
what was the moment where you accidentally or I guess purposefully realized that you were onto something with the transition into where you are now?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. That kind of leads like right into, so at some point, I think it was, okay, so I kept working for the family, and then I went on to, what was the next job? Oh, another job opened up. It was an HR position for a drywall company, and something I had never done anyway. So I jumped on that, and it was something else I just kind of hated, and just, it wasn't for me, you know, like certain people have certain jobs, whether it's HR, management. Like, I think your personality falls in line with like what you should do. And if it doesn't, it's going to show, right? Like you're going to not be happy. Or for me, like, I feel like people could see like right through me. I'm like one of those people that, like, if I'm like in a bad mood, you probably can tell and be like, dude, what's wrong with you?
Well, it's hard to be passionate about something that you don't. Like, so it's almost like you're faking it.
Dude, you are.
You know what I mean?
You're not being real. And like, and then I'd come to work and act like, yeah, exactly. I'm like acting like I'm happy on a Monday, and really I hate this damn job. And like, you know, it's kind of misery, and like what you're doing is you're just kind of killing yourself, really, I think. So anyways, that point became, so 3 years ago, or now 4 years ago, crazy story, but my brother went and started a nonprofit in Detroit, Michigan. And it was all about helping how do I explain it the best? I'm terrible at this, but his goal was to figure out the best ways to serve the community, youth in particular. So he wanted to create like an organization that, you know, served after school hours, and like, you know, what could kids do after school? That was, you know, like there's organizations out there that do all that type of stuff. So his idea was like, okay, let's go around the country. This is crazy, but we did it. Go around the country and interview all the less privileged, you know, associate or people doing these types of programs, and figure out like, what are your best solutions? What are your what's worked, what's not worked, and we'll implement them in Detroit. And like, let's start this whole movement, you know, hopefully get some backing and grow and expand and do something for the better. So he kind of went full head into this thing. He was like, dude, I need someone to record all this. We're going to go around the country. Like, and I was like, shit, dude, I love cameras, and I always have. I'd love to. And there was a guy that did the promotional video for us to go on this tour, and he did a great job. He, you know, made the message very clear as to what we were doing, and like everything was like awesome. And like, I remember writing the check for that and being like, dang, like this is that's interesting. Like, I like to do this. Like, he's helped us, and he's gonna help a lot of other people. Whoa, there's money involved as well. It's like a lot of things I like right there. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So like, I was like, wow, okay, interesting. Like, this dude, you know, maybe he took a week or two to do this, but that number looks good to me. He's helping people. There's so many cool things going on here. Like, I think I could do something like this. And I'm like, interesting. So I the whole trip, I'm like trying to learn everything, dude. I'm like down in we had a 5D Mark III, first camera, no idea what we're doing. I remember looking back at some of the footage and just, it's all blown out. And I'm like, what's going on here? And it's like,
it's a good camera to start with.
Yeah, it was, lucky by all means. But, so, you know, after and during that whole trip, I realized like that was something that if I think I learned enough and really, you know, what do they say? They say like 10,000 hours and you put 10,000. I think
like master something at 10,000 hours.
So I was like, dude, if I work my ass off, I can become good at this. I guarantee it. Like there's nothing stopping me. And like, so it was at that point, it was like, how do I get to this point? And I'm still at the job. And I'm like, okay, this is, you know, this is totally feasible. Like, if let's go do a wedding. Like, let's just, I don't know, what other job's going to pay me right now? Like, I don't have any other jobs, and I don't have a portfolio, nothing. So I'm like, dude, weddings. If you are a creative and you're not sure where to go, like, jump into wedding, just do it, dude. Go. Like, it's stressful as crap. It's crazy. It's chaos, but
that's good.
I think honestly, it's where I've grown in terms of like being very on my toes. Like, you have to be ready. You have to have your crap in order. Like, and I think that's where I got my, like you should see me. I'm anal. Like, my bag is the way it is. Like, I like on set, or at a place, like, my things are the way they are because they work that way. And that's who I am now. It's like, if something's not in its place, well, something's wrong. And like, so I have to have things like in a certain way and like perform a certain way because that's my quality, right? Like, I'm basing everything that I'm doing off of that. Like, that's who I am. That's who I'm, a brand. Some people like hit me up sometimes to like ask for work. I'm like, dude, that doesn't align with like what I'm trying to do. So anyways, but
interesting.
Yeah. So like, I think, back to where were we at? I lost it a little bit.
Just that weddings are a good thing to start at.
Yeah, totally. So jumped into the wedding thing, low numbers. Like, hey, right. I'll do this for like damn near nothing, and just like cover my time, right? Like, just cover me driving around doing the whole deal, and I'll just and then that wedding edit turned out to be. It's so funny. I went to a wedding just the other day, and they're like, oh my gosh, I saw this wedding. And it was the first wedding that I had done from a year and a half prior, and just blown away that like I was getting good compliments on the first wedding I had done. So I don't know. I'm one to pride myself with like, I invest in gear, which is I believe that high quality pays a premium. Like, if you're going to have a high quality product, and I think that everyone should aim for high quality because we're in a world of technology that has an iPhone 4K, display on the, you know what I mean? So like, I think high quality and presenting good work matters. Mm-hmm. And if you don't take high quality serious, well then, what's the difference between you and Joe that has his iPhone? Mm-hmm. So for me, I think quality does matter. I think production value does matter in certain instances. If you're trying to do, a quick 30-second deal for your blog, well, it's a totally different deal. But I think production value matters. I believe that, your quality matters in terms of as a creative. I think that, dude, that's what I feel like the only reason where I'm at today is because I've always prided myself on creating good content. Mm-hmm. And even when I push crappy things on stories, I still am sitting there looking at like, is this look good? Yeah. Because that's my brand. Every time it's like, I'm putting something out to you, you're going to see it and be like, oh, dude, if it's going to be like half crappy or like half, then you're going to think of me differently. And then the next time when something comes to your head and you're like, oh, could he do that? Well, the last time you thought of me was the video you watched. So if I put something crappy in front of your face, well, then what are you going to think of me? Right. I don't know.
It's interesting right now with social media how, so much of brands, a lot of brands that I've worked with, it's just going back from quality to quantity. I've always felt that way too. And when I was growing back in Michigan, that was always my focus as well, because also there, like, the stuff that you see is often not that. Yeah. And so you're like, I don't want to associate with myself with that. That is not what I want to be. So, so then you have your bar, and then you start learning how to produce good content. And at a certain point, now that social media is around and you are able to push stuff all the time and people want a lot and they want it quickly. Yeah. It's like, you find ways to create shorter content or bite-sized content, or like, how can you share? And sometimes that doesn't need to be perfect, but yeah, you kind of have to go back and forth on like what makes this quality.
It is.
Is it the image quality? Is it the story?
Yeah. I think there's a balance on all of it, and it's tough because, and then you almost have to evaluate your audience. Who the heck is like even consuming this stuff? Is it just the everyday person that you're trying to connect with? And like maybe like a lot of my stuff is literally coming from Facebook that I just put out. And it could be like a random video that, like the Hawaii video that I did just a little bit ago. I think I put that out and someone else a recent fitness gal hit me up. Huge following on Instagram. Saw your video. It's awesome. I'd like to do a fitness video, which doesn't align with the content that I made, but it's good content. So therefore she thinks that I'm going to make good content for her.
Right.
So there you go back to that quality thing where you have to just, I think the winner in the content game is the guy that can create good content on a 3 to 5 day week thing. Like, so if you're pushing out 3 videos a week or you're pushing out 3 podcasts a week and they're quality, dude, I think it's just a matter of time before you get seen. Like I just do.
Yeah.
And then I think there's a lot of other contingencies that go with that. But I think either video, what other thing that you have, if you can do quality and content on a weekly basis, like there's not much that's going to stop that type of thing. So, yeah.
I think that before we go further, we should just take a step back. Well, first of all, hi, Meg.
What's up, Meg?
Hi.
Megan just walked in. I think we should take a step back and just will you just give a little overview of now kind of what you do?
Yeah.
And not just for paying jobs, but like you say, the Hawaii thing, like the trips you've done, like if you could sum it all up into some buckets of like the types of things you do or your goals, I think that'd be
that's great. I didn't touch on that.
I'm gonna stop you real quick. Just a quick reflection from somebody who's not like in this industry, but I think kind of relates to everybody. Is you found a passion for what you wanted to do through a random opportunity.
Yep.
Like, so that moment when you were working with your brother and then you realized that someone could get paid for what he was doing, you thought that was fun.
Yeah.
You ran with it. What do you think was that, like, what was that moment where you were like, I need to do that? Like, how did that, you know what I mean? How did that happen? Because I think it's a strong message there for people who are like, you know, it's all situational, depending on if you have family, if you have kids or what you can do. But like, you were doing you had to try all these different things and you saw something that you wanted to do. There's a lot of people see things that they want to do, but how did you take that next step to doing it?
That's a fantastic question.
You know what I mean?
I think what I started doing from there is I took it a step farther. So I grabbed that DSLR and I was like, yo, I'll pay you for this. Can I have this? What can I do to get this camera? Because now I see an opportunity. So what I did is I saw the opportunity. And I was like, how can I elaborate on this? How can I go out and grab this thing and be like, hey, can I change everything that I'm doing right now, which I don't like doing?
It's hard. It's not easy.
So yeah. So I think what it is like evaluating something that you see that draws your interest. So whatever it is, if it draws you in, I think you need to explore it, because otherwise it could be something that you just pass by and you just
like, that looks fun. That looks fun, but not actually taking a look at what it would take.
Right.
I think that's important.
You didn't even give it a shot. So I think any opportunity where you get this, like, you get that little spark or whatever it is, dude, give it a shot. Like, go.
You'll always have doubts.
Yeah. Well, and then if you explore it, what's the worst that, you just throw it out the back and say, no, it was a no-go. I didn't fall in love, or I didn't have passion for it. I thought I did.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, how many times have we done that?
Right.
Millions of times. I used to ride dirt bikes, dude. Like, loved it, but I wasn't good at it. So I had to let it go.
Yeah. No, I think that's huge, because that's just, I mean, you saw something and then you took a look at it and you started to dive, and then you realized. And then my next point was with the weddings, like, you're not going to be perfect right away.
Yeah.
And so you said, all right, what can I do?
Yeah.
All right, weddings. I don't necessarily love shooting weddings or whatever, but that gave you the infrastructure, that gave you the discipline, that made you, like you said, trial by error or by fire or whatever. And so you had to do these things and you had all these demands, and that gave you that infrastructure for, okay, I can work that, and now I can take that into everything else I want to do.
Oh yeah, completely. Yeah. And to just ride that whole wedding wave, like, a wedding is very high tense, high stress, as you would know. And it takes someone that's like on their game to perform in those situations. If I see a wedding performer, or like a wedding performer, someone that shoots weddings versus some random guy that's a DP for someone else, dude, I'll choose this guy just because I know he knows how to perform in like quick too. Like honestly, like I know what the situations are, and like for those people to perform and do it well, like I understand that. So. Yeah,
awesome. Yeah, no,
that's awesome, dude.
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah,
this is a foreign language for me.
Yeah.
A lot of this.
Sorry.
I'm starting to learn through him, but like as an outsider, I try to connect the dots with everybody else who's listening. But I think that's good. So now, like you were saying, let's kind of transition into
hit me with that overview.
Where are you at now?
Yeah.
What do you do?
Yeah. So now I am currently. Geez, it's funny that you ask. I'm doing a little bit of everything in the video industry. I'm full-time video, and that's been since last June. So it'll be just a little bit under a year now, and I'm going, I have 3 to 4 jobs every month that are consistent. I mean, I have now, like, I looked at my schedule, and like, I have enough weddings that I'm not trying to brag here, but everything's taken care of for the entire year. Like, I could just stop right here and just do what I have to do and like just pay all my bills and more. And like, I'd be completely fine. But I'm trying to reach a different place and explore different avenues. And that leads me to like, hopefully, like something that I pride myself on is like just really being the best person that I can be. And like, that kind of aligns with like where my goals are. So like big picture, I'm going towards this number, let's say. Big picture, I'm going towards this place. All these things that I'm trying to do. That's where I'm headed, and I'm going to do it like anything I can to get there. But yeah, so I'm doing a little bit of weddings. I got, business events. I'm working with Instagram clients, like the gal that I'm working right now, creating like, she actually has her own application, and I'm just helping her voice her application to the world. So helping her get more clients, helping her build her business. And that's what I'm all about. Like everything that I came into this business to help other businesses, like if I can help you grow your business, like dude, win-win, like Absolutely. You come to me and you need a video and I'm going to help you display that to the world in a good, cool way. Like, dude, we all win. That's what it's all about. So, I'm doing like product promotions, like people will hit me up for just anything, dude, like anything. I'm starting to get into, I started a little bit with drones as well. It's like one of my areas of expertise, I guess. Like that's where I do well with drones. You did some real
estate stuff, didn't
you? Yep. Started in real estate actually a little bit.
What do you think about that? I was always curious because when drones got big and these companies started paying for walkthroughs, is that lucrative? Is it like versus wedding? Is there something
out here,
there?
baby? Out here, yeah.
Yeah.
I could see it being I could see you doing okay with the business out here, but when you have, 500,000 or less, listings, the margin is just not there for the market, for the marketing.
Okay. So
when you have $1,000 or $1 million listing or something, well, they got, thousands to spend on marketing, which, is yours. But I don't see it being in Michigan, something where I take that back. I shouldn't say that. I see it in Michigan, but I'm not necessarily working with the right clients yet or the right people yet in terms of they just are dealing with just not the properties that I need to be in to make money.
Right.
I was doing things for, hundreds of dollars and where like it just didn't make sense anymore. Like I'd be going out and shooting this thing and, for a couple $100, but it was like contradicting to where I'm
it's like
going.
You need somebody on your staff that's all that they do. They go, they edit it, they turn it around.
Yep. And someone just hit me up for that. And I'm like, dude, we're going to have, I like stopped him in his tracks and there's nothing wrong with this. I was like, let's discuss numbers before we go any farther. I don't want to waste your time and I don't want to waste mine. I want to help you guys, but if it doesn't make sense financially, then, it just doesn't make sense.
That's actually, it's interesting. It's something that I would think would be good to ask you about is one of the things that I have fallen victim to. And I think a lot of early like video production dudes and gals, filmmakers fall victim to is the inability to price yourself at your value. We all want to please the client. We all want to do a really good job and have the client walk away with a big smile. And in that, you can blow a lot of time, I feel like, when you don't recognize what you're worth and what you can and should be charging.
Yeah.
And like, what was your transition to go from that, charging a few $100s for 40 hours of work to then charging what you should actually be paid?
Yeah. I think I joined a group about a year and a half ago. It was an online filmmaker group. And it really kind of helped me realize that, people of this caliber were getting this money. So I saw that and I was like, wow, okay. I'm way under, like you're saying. And without knowing that outside perspective, I just didn't know that's what I was worth. I didn't know, I didn't appreciate it even. I was like, I'm even after these day or two of editing, I'm like, geez, was it worth that? And I'm like, I don't know. But then I realized we as filmmakers and a lot of creatives, you have a special skill, you have a special talent, and that's something that you can't just replicate. Creativity is something that I feel like even after the robots take over, like that's what's going to separate us from them, is we have this crazy diverse mind that can think of crazy different things that, robots cannot. So like, I think creativity is going to be the one factor that will set us apart from any species ever, is like understanding different angles, understanding feelings, emotions, like those things, a robot or a machine cannot do. So, I think, honing on that creativity and being like, this is what I feel I'm worth, and then kind of stacking that up to what those people were saying. And I'm like, okay, the number that I always kept coming to was, and this might sound crazy for people, and who knows, maybe it's a wake up call for you guys, but it was always like, I'm $1,500 per day to shoot, to go on set with you, to carry all my gear, to do all this crap. It's $1,500. And I'm like, dang, that sounds like a lot. But then I'm like, if I'm on set from 7 to 8 p.m., let's just say, what is that? 13 hours, break that down to the hour, whatever that is, $130 an hour, whatever that is. Then all of a sudden things like it starts coming together, and it's like, okay, well, maybe it's not as much as I thought, and maybe these people are in line where I should be. So I kind of started dissecting that a little bit, and then I started kind of maneuvering it into what mattered to me, which was my time. So if I'm driving 2 hours, I'm gonna add some money to that whole deal. I'm gonna stick with the $1,500, and then I'm gonna be like, okay, I got a 4-hour commute. I'm gonna tax on $400, $100 an hour. I kind of break it down into this $100 an hour range, because I do feel like I have enough skills and talent to bring $100 to the table.
And are you talking about the shooting portion of the job?
Yeah. Yep.
So then,
and so then there was a whole different thing for editing as well. Mm-hmm. And that depends. I think it varies on every job. Every job is so different, right? Like this girl I'm doing this product, or not product, but her application promotion. It's going to take a lot of editing. It's going to be a lot of quick movements, a lot of speed ramps, a lot of timing, and oh my gosh, super intensive thing. So I plan prior to, bill for that. I know what I'm getting into now. This is going to suck in the editing room. Some people don't, some people like that. I'm not a huge fan of editing. To me, it's very tough to sit behind a computer all day. So I just make sure I'm compensated for it. And I think everyone should, it's a tough task to do. So
that's interesting. I think it goes back to what you first said, is it starts with quality though.
Yeah.
Cause I bet there was a moment where you were, maybe you remember, but what's the first moment where you threw a number out that you thought was a little crazy and they were like, yeah, we'll do it.
Oh geez. I remember, I
and
think
you were like, fine.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I love it. Oh my god! I threw out
at that point, yeah,
I threw out like a $4,000 wedding, my first $4,000 wedding, and I thought it was just absurd. And they came back with no questions. They were just like, "Okay, just send us the contract." And I was like, "Wait a minute."
Yeah.
Okay, now we got something going. You know what I mean? So I think, all of us as creatives and professionals in general, I think what we do is we kind of like, we look at other people and we say we can't have more than that, or we can't do more than that, or we're not worth this, or we're not worth that. And then all of a sudden you're just putting yourself in this box. Right. And that box, like, then it's so hard to get out of that. So I would say get to a number that you're comfortable with. After so many jobs now, I can say I walk away from a job and I'm like, yep, that's what I should be getting paid. And I think that just comes with doing it, repetitively, doing it over and over and over. And just, you'll get to a point where you're like, dude, I'm working with this client right now. And I'm like, I'm going to have to increase my rates. Like, I'm not comfortable with where I'm at right now. Like, I want to provide your service, but I'm driving over to the east side and I'm getting X dollars, and like, it just doesn't make sense anymore. And I like break it down for you. Like, this per hour plus my gas doesn't match up to where I am right now. And like, it's just taken away from what I could be doing.
Have you had to do that with certain clients to this point? And how have they responded?
I will probably next week with this guy.
Okay. So next time we talk to you.
Yeah. But no, everything else has been, per project basis. Yeah. And, I'm quoting people as I would do the job for.
Right.
But yeah, no, I don't have too many situations where it's,
right.
I have to go back or anything like that.
Cool. I think we should jump into, Mitch is wearing a fancy shirt here.
Oh yeah. Fancy, baby.
Do more, baby.
Yeah.
I've started to see this pop up in the last several months.
Don't mind
Tell me about Do More. What is it? How did it start?
Dude, it's kind of crazy. I don't even know where it started, to be honest. I got to think about this and figure this out, because I'm not sure. Like, I don't have like a time or place where I was just like, do more or whatever. But there's been like, I've been like super into self-improvement the last year, reading tons of books, tons of audio. Actually, it's all audio. I can't read books. I like fall asleep, but tons of audiobooks on like self-improvement. How do I be the best person I can be? And I kept just hearing this thing about action, like, how much action you take, even if you're freaking, winging the shit, if you're taking action, you're going to get to the place that you want to go. We all try to dodge the potholes and all that. Like, you can learn from other people and miss a lot of that. But the more action you take, you're going to get to the place that you want to go to 100 times faster. Yeah. So I think where this kind of all came from was like, it was like I was in a position where I was doing things and I was like, dude, how can I get to, I have these monthly goals, and we should talk about this a little bit, but every day I wake up and write down goals anyway. I'm like, why am I not getting to this place? Like, what am I doing? Like, can I do more? Can I do other things to get me to this number that I'm trying to get to? And like, I'm like trying to figure out like, what the hell could I do? And I'm like, honestly, like, I'm going back and looking at my time. I'm like, dude, I have the time. I'm not doing enough. Like, I literally am not. And I'm just telling myself I am, So I think it was like this mind game where I'm like, yeah, you're good, but really you could do more. And like, I think that's kind of like where it started. And then, I don't know, I just kind of came to fruition. It's weird. I got to figure that out. But.
So you've been hashtagging it, and then and you decided to just.
I just made a shirt because I was like, fuck yeah.
Well, you should continue to grow it. I think it's good.
Yeah. And what I hope it does, and a lot of my branding or a lot of what I do on social media is, I'm just trying to help people realize that it's not the situation, whatever they're in, it's not the end all be all. You know what I mean? Like, I was in that job, dude. I was doing that every day. I woke up and I freaking hated it. And I was like, is this it? Like, this is what I'm going to do. Like, or I got to go out and get another job. And I felt like every time I did that, I'd have to go out and get a similar job because I was in the management field. And then like you touched on was that little opportunity. Like I just grabbed it and was like, I'm going to make this it's my shit. And like, and I made it happen. Instead of, a lot of people will just sit there and they'll think about it. They'll ponder about it. There's something called paralysis analysis where you sit there and you think about what you should do. And all of a sudden you become paralyzed because there's no action. Like so for me, the way that I can kill that, or the way that I think anyone that can get by that is I literally wake up every day and I write down what I want to achieve. And there's daily goals. I think there's yearly goals. And then there's like, I mean, there's other things that we, what we want to aspire to be as a person over our life. And that there's so many different things that I do. But most importantly, I wake up and I write down what I want to accomplish. So if it's $10,000 a month, that's what I want to go for. I'm hunting for that, and I'm going to figure out how to get there no matter what. If I have the time, that's what I'm going for. So one of those things is like, now I want to start investing in real estate because many different reasons, but one of the main reasons is I'm one person. I can only do so much. So if I'm not doing something, I'm not getting paid. And real people that are investors and really wealthy and smart people, way smarter than I'll ever be, a lot of people have created wealth through real estate. So I'm like, gosh, and I've tuned in on so many different podcasts. I'm like, I could totally do this. I can take what I'm earning now and turn around and invest it in real estate and start building up this passive. It's not really passive. They say it is, but it's not. I can build up this other business to help me compensate for my business. So now I'm earning income and I'm putting it over here. I'm not touching it. I'm not blowing it. Even though I'm going to Coachella this weekend, I'm not blowing it. I'm putting it to work more or less. So now this thing over here will hopefully pay me while I'm doing this, and hopefully that I build this thing so big that I'll eventually have the just straight option to do what I want. So if I don't want to do a wedding or I don't want to do a business corporate event, I don't have to. I have the financial security to do that. And I think that's something a lot of people, especially Gary Vee. Gary Vee talks a lot about hustle your face off. And I think that's great, but he doesn't talk about, financial moves at all in terms of investing. I think the most important thing that no one understands is investing. Where's your money going? You earn this money that you worked your ass off for. What are you doing with it? Right. Where's it at? It's in your checking or it's your banking? Like, what's it doing? Like, that's the most important part. I think he's like, he could probably make $1 billion instead of $1 million if he told you the other side of it, how to invest that money. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh my gosh, that's the move. So that financial person that's going to tell you how to invest it, dude, he wins. There's a lot of people that I watch, and I can kind of fill you guys in on those people because I think that's like the king is like, dude, we can't all do this shit till we're, 50 or 60, I wouldn't be dead. Right. I just did a wedding the other day and I worked my ass off and it hurt.
It's funny you say that because, I mean, a lot of the reason that I wanted to do this was my buddies got me into Joe Rogan. Okay. And they had been listening for years. The first few episodes. Yeah. And I was just like, and I finally got into it. And I love it. But one thing he does is he always says is like, if you're not doing something that makes you happy every day, then do something else. But it's not that easy. So what are those financial moves to get to that point? And I'm not asking you.
No, this is a good question. I like it.
And it's something that you said earlier is like, when you decided you wanted to start being creative and getting weddings, you didn't just stop what you were doing. You can't just quit what you're doing. So like, that's important for people. It's like,
I didn't touch on
a lot of people, I think they think, well, I can't stop this. I got to pay these bills. I got a family. you don't have to stop that. You have to figure out time management. What you said, you have to write your goals down. You have to figure out, and I'm still trying to figure that. He's trying to figure that out. Like, it's not easy because we all have more time than we think. But because we're tired, or because maybe we're not eating right and we don't have as much energy through the day, or we just get caught up in other shit, we don't prioritize and we don't organize our day to where everything is, you know what I mean? So it's hard to think because there's so much shit we all want to do, but sometimes when we sit down and think about it and don't start with just a few things, it seems overwhelming. Because it's like, well, fuck, where do we start? Because we got to have a business. We got to do this. We got to have marketing. We got to do this. And it's like, break it down. You know what I mean?
Totally. And I could elaborate a little bit. I call it frame blocking, but something to kind of piggyback what you said with little chunks. It's so important to break this goal down into chunks. If you don't do that, you're going to be overwhelmed from the get-go. If you're like, I got to do this, this, and this, dude, you will immediately shut down and just be like, I can't do it.
Right.
$10,000 a month, not feasible. Dude, it is. It's very feasible. Right. And you can do it. You just have to break it down. And I love that you say that because it's so important to, and you're right. I stayed at that job, dude. I stayed there till 6 months later until what I did is I built enough weddings into my schedule where I covered my expenses. I didn't just jump out there and do that thing. So I booked enough. I had like 25 wedding or whatever the number was of weddings, and that number cleared my expenses. So therefore I was not going to starve.
So at the beginning you were working weekends and you were
dude, nights, weekends. Every minute after work, I'd go at work. I was on my YouTube, dude, learning all day. Yeah. And people would be like, what are you doing? I'm like, yeah, my bad. Yeah, all day and all night. Yeah. Yeah. So like it and a lot of people aren't willing to do that. I think there's like a little obsession as well. I think that kind of goes with a lot of like entrepreneurs. They get like, sometimes people will like just go lost and be like, dude, where'd that guy go, dude? He's just gone doing his thing. Cause he's focused. He wants to get to this place. Right. And he'll do anything to get there. And I think that was me. I was like this, and I do not want to be a part of this anymore. Like, I know I can do so much more. I have the potential. Like, I just need to focus. And, I think there's a point in life where you'll be like, you get sick of it, dude. And I was far past that.
I think that's just a huge message, because I never want anyone to watch this and feel like, well, I got too much shit going on and I can't. But like, if there's something else you want to do, and you don't even have to make it your career. You don't have to completely quit, but if there's something else you love, just make baby steps towards that, and maybe it will ultimately make your life happier because you're doing this. You still have the other job or whatever, but let that job, let that just be the job, and then do what you love. And I love how, now you're talking, it's almost full circle, because now you're, you got into what you want. Now you're looking for other ways to invest that money to keep you doing it. It's not like you're just, success does not happen overnight. Right. It's not like you're just some big producer. You got all the money in the world. You're in the grind still. And you're trying to figure out how to make money to let you do this. Ultimately, the end goal is to do 100% what you love and make a lot of money and employ other people and give them jobs, and that makes you money. You know what I mean? But you have to make all these steps. It's never just here and there. And I think it's so overwhelming sometimes to think about what you want to do. And for us too, we've dealt with this, but you just have to break it down. I'm still trying to do that. We were just talking about this earlier with my day and working from home, and you guys are freelance. So it's like trying to prioritize, because I do that with my job, but then what else, And so now we're trying to do these things, but I think a lot of these messages are, it's awesome.
I think that, as we get close to closing, we should move into work-life balance a little bit. You talked about attacking some of these challenges with a positive mindset. And I guess first I'd like to hear if you have thoughts on how to break up as an independent contractor, as an entrepreneur. How do you determine when to turn things off? We're talking about when you need to, you're grinding 24/7. That's healthy. You
go to Coachella
for a time, for a chunk of time. But is it sustainable? And I think no.
Right.
Yeah.
and how do you break that off?
Work-life balance.
Yeah.
And
I struggle with it, dude. I'll be completely honest. I really, really struggle with it. And in the struggle meaning I struggle at taking the vacation. Like right now, I feel like I'm missing things. I got listings coming through my mailbox that I want to go walk. And I want to see these opportunities that are coming up, and I'm here, and I can't do that. So it's tough. But I also understand the other side of things, which is that we all need to enjoy our life no matter where we are. I understand, that we're given a certain amount of time. You don't know that time. It could end any day. I've had situations in my past of friends, that are gone tomorrow, and you're like, damn, that's just fucked up. And so I see that other side of the coin where I want to work my face off and I want to do these good things, but it's for me, instead of for someone else. And that was the one big thing is everyone wakes up every day, and I try not to make this sound bad, but I'm doing it for me instead, and my family and my, me. It's for me now instead of, and I just hope to empower someone else that's on the edge of, what am I doing? I have this skill set? Okay, maybe can I go over here and make this thing work? Could I create my own future? That's what I've always wanted to do, do it, or at least do it while you're employed. Right. Do that.
It's baby steps,
Yep. And back to that whole frame blocking, if I can help you at all, I literally map out my day from 7 to 8 p.m. at night. Yeah. If you want to just go 7 a.m., I always do it by hour. And so I write down my goals, and then I write down what I have to accomplish for the day. Those are the to-do list, right? And I'll put the to-do list over on the time blocking schedule. So it's 7 to 8 p.m. I'm working. And I got to do these things, and I put them over here, and then those things will get me to my goals eventually. Not tomorrow, but they'll get me there. Right. If I finish this edit, well, then that's closer to the $10,000 a month that I'm looking to get. Or if I work out, it's towards the goal that I'm trying to be in the best shape of my life. Right. Or so all these daily things. Those small steps will get me to my goals. So break down your goals into actionable steps. If you want to lose 10 pounds, what do you got to do to get there? Break it down, dude. Yeah. Literally go backwards, like Gary Vee says, and everyone says, re-engineer, whatever he says, but go backwards.
Reverse it?
Yeah, reverse engineer, sorry. Yeah. And reverse engineer what you want to do. If you want to make $100K a year, well, what's that break down into a week? Today. To a second, do it, figure it out, dude, write it down. I think a lot of people, I love that you're writing down notes just because I know the power of it. I started writing down my goals every day, and all of a sudden they started becoming reality, and I'm like, holy shit, what's going on here? That came true, and I keep them now because it's interesting. I keep this whole stack, and it's looking back, and I'm like, that came true. Right. And it's wild, but
I think I mean, obviously this is our second podcast and we're learning, but I think one awesome thing would be to do from each guest is kind of when we get done, kind of grab everything what do you watch? What are the podcasts you watch?
Yeah, totally.
When you talk about framework, what are websites? What are all that? Because then each time we put this out, we can say, this is what he does.
Yeah.
And even if, one person goes to a podcast you watch, maybe that changes their life.
Yeah. Totally. I got too many to list, but I'll give you everything I got.
Yeah. That's what it's about. It's learning, and we're all in the process. I mean, you're
I'm tuning into yours to learn from more people,
Absolutely.
For sure.
Cool. I mean, that's the goal.
Yeah.
I have a question. What's the dopest shit you ever did so far?
Oh man,
I need to know
the dopest shit I've ever did. I mean,
the dopest dope I ever saw.
Rephrasing the question.
Yeah, sorry.
Geez, dude. I mean, I don't know.
What was that thing where you were like,
okay,
this is it.
It was really second.
Was it our helicopter ride?
Well, that was fun too. But I went on this trip around. When I went on that trip, we were in a motorhome, and we literally crossed the whole country in a motorhome.
That's crazy.
So it was me, my brother, and another dude, and we literally traveled the U.S. I mean, you always think about how cool would that be. It was really that cool. It was work, but it was also dude, it was just one of those things where you're like, what the fuck? This is unreal, So seeing the country in a motorhome, I'd say that was probably That's probably, it's hard to think now. You got me out thinking about
Well,
things.
okay, that was but before you really dove into this. So once you dove into this, has there been a moment to where you were like, yeah, like I know I'm on the right path? You know, like almost some reinforcement.
Yeah. I think, the money had like
money
this,
helps.
Yeah, this money. Well, and what that was is it was the mentality that I created my own paycheck. So going from something where I was getting a paycheck every week that was looking the same, I had the ability to go out and do whatever I wanted to. So if I was like, dude, I could just go make as much money as I want to if I have the time.
Yeah. Right.
All of a sudden I felt like I was in power, and like that to me was just insane. I was like, I'm literally creating my own reality. Like I will work my face off to make X dollars. Like I have the control now. And like, I think that was one of the most powerful things, and like something that was like, dude, this is sick. Like,
do you think that's what keeps you accountable?
Oh my gosh. I would say, so I'm very money motivated, just because I know the opportunities that it can bring in other aspects of life. Like if I grow and do what I need to do, I can help other people. I can do more things. I can give back to the community. I can do like anything that you want. Like, so I'd say that's like 80% of it. And then, the things that the creative things that I like to do, I try to incorporate that too. So it's a big part. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Awesome.
I'm going to ask another question. Did we lose a camera?
Did I talk too much, guys?
No.
Lost the camera?
Just one battery's down. Can you, there's batteries in the hallway there. Will you just pop one in? Oh, cool.
Awesome.
And then I have one more.
So so before that last question, this is awesome. Like the power of
I'm glad we finally have you on. I feel like I should have done a little bit better job at the beginning introducing. We'll write some stuff in the notes, but I'll just say that Mitch is.
I didn't explain myself very well.
No, you're good. You got to follow him because Mitch does a very good job of sharing.
Yeah.
And I remember when we first had our first conversation. I don't know how many years ago it was, but you hadn't quit that job yet.
Oh no shit.
Yeah, no, I don't remember how.
Dude, that's wild.
I'd love to go back and read that stuff. Yeah. But your story has been inspiring to me.
Good.
I think that some of the challenges that you've faced have helped me. I think that sometimes I sit back and I learn, and I'm so quality focused that I don't do more. You know what I mean? I don't put myself in the face of fear because I want to hold this quality. I don't want to ever put anything out. And I think it's okay to have that mentality, but seeing some of the stuff, being willing to risk is something that is empowering to see.
Dude, and I still do that. I'll put out those stories, and they're half-assed. I literally throw them together in 20 minutes, and I struggle because I'm like, this is not me, this isn't my brand. But I have to, I'm pushing myself to get over this blanket of like perfection, right? Like we all do it as creatives. We all like want to be great. Yeah. Every piece of product you ever put out in your life is not going to be perfect. So just get over it, right. So, no, I respect that and totally understand 100%.
Yeah.
And I just love it that you've taken something from me, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And multiple people have said that to me, and it's like literally like my most empowering thing. Like that's what like keeps me going.
We'll definitely put Mitch's stuff in the links in the show notes.
Social media,
when he says do more, it doesn't. He's not just waking up earlier in the day. Like he comes out to LA and we meet for the first time and go on a helicopter ride over downtown Los Angeles and photograph things. And he's jumping off bridges and going to Hawaii and making dope shit. So follow him. And do you want to any other final notes? Or?
I think my last thing would be, I don't know. I think there's a lot in there. And it's awesome just to see someone doing what they're doing.
We could
talk forever.
It's awesome.
I think I'm trying to remember what my point was. Oh, you said it. But like one of the staples of this podcast is that everybody has something to give.
Yeah.
And so whether you're, wherever you're at, some people don't, they want to teach or they don't want to whatever.
Yeah.
Our job is to have these conversations because like you just gave a lot.
Yeah.
And, there's always somebody who wants to be where you're at. And
Totally.
we've like, that's huge. There's somebody who wants to be where you're at. And so there's always something for somebody to give. And so like, I just love having these conversations and definitely will share all the stuff. And, I don't know. I mean,
yeah. Did you want me to touch on any of the things that I find inspiring?
Why don't you just rapid fire?
So
we can just why don't you just rapid fire them?
Yeah. So for like inspiration / motivation, I'm a huge Grant Cardone fan, and he just really focuses on creating income. Like he will get your ass going in terms of if you're a salesman, any area. He's going to motivate you in terms of like getting your shit going, like, and as you should, like that money, it's an economic planet that we live on. You need to have money. If you don't, like, you're in trouble. And then Robert Kiyosaki, which is a huge real estate guru that's kind of dates back to like 1990s and changed the whole real estate investing, like culture and dude, insane, has changed the world, I think. Yeah. Someone that you guys all should read his book called Rich Dad Poor Dad. It's all about financial literacy and learning how to become, he calls it the 4 quadrants, which you're either on business, an investor, employee, or a solopreneur. So you want to be over here in the business and investor side, or you're in trouble. And then there's a couple of people that have yet to like hit the scene. I guess there's a guy out here in LA named Graham Stephan. He's all about financial literacy, understanding financials, what to do if you need, if you're not sure what to do with a credit card, how to build your credit, stuff like that. Yeah. Important stuff that school doesn't teach you. So those are some of the things that I could tell you right now, and I dive into all those.
Yeah, if you have anything else, we'll just throw them in later.
I won't go too deep. And
amazing.
Yeah.
Mitch, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah. Thank you guys. I appreciate it.
Thank
you for having me.
Yeah.